For challengers, it's always about changing the environment in Washington. And we hear this every cycle, and it never changes. So as one person in a body of 435 representatives, how do you change that cycle? How do you break through that and accomplish something both for Democrats and Republicans?
You know, I thought about this when I ran for State House the first time 4 years ago, and I kind of always felt, look, we have more common ground than we think. Sometimes
I've spoken to a lot of people who voted for the president who say they still support him, they still believe in what he's doing, they just wish he would get off of Twitter. Is the president sometimes his own worst enemy when it comes to kind of keeping focus on the issues that he's not only trying to promote and succeed on, but trying to convince others to join his plan?
The president sees Twitter as a way to communicate with the American people without going through the filter of mainstream media. Unbiased sources have shown, studies have shown that 90 to 92% of the media coverage on mainstream media of the president is negative. I mean, come on. That's obviously slanted. That's obviously.
As I'm aware, you're the only congressional candidate on a Winnebago. So what brought this idea about?
When I first launched the campaign, I didn't know a lot of things. I was first-time candidate, but the few things I did want to know, or I knew that I wanted to accomplish was getting out to the people.
Your campaign's Facebook page takes a lot of heat for the stuff it posts. I could spout off the 5 or 6 memes I've already seen today. Does that help with that discourse? Does that help, or does that fan the flames of this partisanship that we're feeling of kind of staying in your corner of the political divide?
Well, my Facebook page is, I don't do that hands-on for me.
And, but it's
yes,
your name.
I'll take responsibility for it, but I just want to make sure my Twitter account, though, that's always me. And if a person were monitoring all the comments coming in on that, they would know that there are a bunch of nasty trolls out there that every day they're just...
You've been serving now since 2007. That's quite a while.
Yeah.
What gets you coming back? I mean, it can be a very cynical place to work, obviously. There's a lot of bitterness, a lot of partisanship. Why do you feel that you're the best representative to continue the work that you've done so far?
I do think of my mom a lot, quite a bit, actually. When I take certain votes, I'm not sure about what I'm going to do. You know, I think about my mom, what she'd want me to do, what she might be okay with if she didn't agree with it, for example.
But are trying to decide who to vote for in this race. What would you say stands out as the key differences between how you would serve them and how he serves them?
I think in approach mainly. So I kind of bring a physician's perspective to politics. I want to understand an issue thoroughly and then kind of vet potential solutions regarding cost versus benefits, et cetera. I will pursue each particular issue on an individual basis, on an independent basis. I think Dave Loebsack is a fairly decent fella, but he votes party line 90% or more of the time. I'm interested in finding solutions, not just political posturing for perpetuation of the status quo. I think we need to do something better than the status quo. It has failed us, and we need to try something different.
Get this right off the bat.
Oh,
because it's the first thing. I've looked at some of your online stuff and your campaign platform. Explain the outfit, because I see it in every photo that I can find of you.
Right. I decided a few years ago that if you're going to run for office as an average citizen and you don't want to ask for campaign contributions, which I have not done, you have to be very creative to get the attention of the media and your fellow citizens. And when you're out getting signatures just to get on the ballot, you've got to have some way of stimulating conversation with them, getting your attention. And so dressing like a modern day version of Paul Revere or Thomas Jefferson has been very successful for me. It works for me. It doesn't work for everybody, but and sometimes you get some attention that you don't really want. Some people think that you're wearing a pirate hat and not a patriot hat. So I have to explain sometimes it's a liberty hat like the founders wore.
So just to be clear, if you win on election day, what are you wearing to Congress?
Oh, I'm wearing a suit and tie, but I may wear the hat in Congress because up until the 1840s, our congressmen wore their tricorner hats in the House of Congress, and it was a tradition carried over from England in the House of Commons where they wore their tricorner hats in defiance of the king's ministers. So